Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Quick History. Today we're going to begin a series of videos looking at the Middle Ages. In this video we're going to take a look at what do people believe made them ill during that particular time period. As always, there's a free handout in the description and make sure you click on subscribe if you'd like to see more GCSE history based revision content. Let's get into the details. During the Middle Ages, there were several explanations offered for why people were ill. With Pasteur's germ theory not developed till the 19th century, all of them were incorrect. In Europe, during the Middle Ages, with little exception, people were Christian. The Church played a central role in people's lives. Therefore, it makes perfect sense that people in the Middle Ages would have believed that it was God who was causing them illness. People believed that God was punishing people for committing sin, and that's why people became ill. If there was a large-scale epidemic, then people would believe that people in the country that it took place were committing sin on too large a scale, and therefore God was punishing them and trying to correct their ways. During the Black Death, the most common explanation for what was causing the epidemic was that God was punishing Europe for leading a sinful life. The other most common explanation for why people were ill in the Middle Ages was the theory of the four humours. As we'll see in future videos, the Christian Church were big believers in the ideas of Galen. The ideas of Galen fit in very nicely with the ideas of the Christian Church, so therefore the Church pushed the ideas of the ancient doctors. As a result, many physicians were trained in the ideas of Galen and Hippocrates, so therefore many people in the Middle Ages believed they were ill because their humours had become out of balance. Another lesser used explanation for why people were ill in the Middle Ages was the idea of bad air and bad smells. It was very common in the towns for them to be overcrowded and filled with animal and human waste, and some people had begun to notice that the death rate in towns was much higher than the death rate in the countryside. The only obvious difference to the people in the Middle Ages between the two was the bad smells and bad air coming from the towns. It was said by travellers that you could often smell a town before you could see it, and some people began to believe that it was these bad smells which were causing illness. It's also worth noting in the Middle Ages that death was part of everyday life. It was not uncommon for people to die at a very young age, and deaths in childbirth were very common indeed. Therefore, some people saw illness and death simply as a part of their everyday life. Join me in the next video where we're going to take a look at who treated the sick in the Middle Ages. I'll see you there.